Okay. Alright, it is recording, so don't say anything you don't want on camera, jokes.
Actually, Jonas just don't say anything.
Are you staying?
Oh no, I'm judging.
Where's Bo though? Because I'm hungry.
Oh, Scott, can we get dinner after, please?
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
We ate all that food at the,
Stop, yeah.
we had that big lunch at the,
100%.
everybody at the year, I think.
So who are the people selling Girl Scouts?
Oh, but everybody but me
Yeah.
is not super hungry.
The rest of us ate at like 3.
One of the freshmen just like
Oh,
brought
no,
a bunch of
you're
Girl Scout
right.
cookies. It's like,
I love it.
Oh,
they're annoying as shit, but it's
oh, my team is being anti-fasting.
What?
So cool. I'm fasting, so I
okay.
didn't have lunch, but everyone else had lunch at 2. So I guess I'm not the only. I'm like probably the only person who's actually.
Why are you fasting?
It's for weight loss reasons. It's kind of work. It's not religious or anything.
Okay.
We're chilling at 30 pounds now, so
Nice.
Congratulations.
trying to go another 30. Yeah. 150 would be.
Aggressive,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but I respect the hustle. Yo, where Bo at? Oh, I guess it's only 5:57. No, it's not. It's 6:05.
605.
My laptop was delayed.
Oh yeah, when it like flickers.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I feel that.
Steve gave me Delta cookies.
Great.
Hi.
It's a bad news when I show up to a tournament. Like, this is like the first tournament
Yeah,
ever
I just
where
like needed it.
there's
so
part
I
of
just,
me that like
swapped.
doesn't necessarily
yeah.
care if I don't win the tournament. It's like
There's part of me that just doesn't care if I win or lose.
He just like left his camera.
it's recording. Oh, it started. Shit.
Okay. Things if you're happier with the result of this round, extensions, kind of important for both of you. I give more leeway to the AF, but like that leeway is still, like you still have to do an extension. You can't just say extend the AF, if that makes sense. You have to probably have about a sentence on it, whereas like for the negative, I would probably say that you need a little bit more than a sentence, not necessarily that much more. It's just a slight leeway for the AF in terms of extensions, but I do need them. Weighing is nice. Just like interaction on whatever the top layer of the flow is.
Something
Awesome.
about the last round?
No, this is just in general. Like, if you do these things, it'll make me happier. It'll probably make your speaker points better, and it'll make it hopefully either easier for me to evaluate the round or more difficult because you both were just so good. So, yay. We should debate too because I'm hungry.
Sure. Does anyone have any extra paper on them?
Yep.
Extra.
Oh, third, I have a cough. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'm not intentionally trying to cough in either of your speeches, but I blame my housemates.
Do you like live in your sorority house?
Yeah, I live in a room with like 7 other people.
Oh, that's fun stuff.
And they're all coughing, and I hate them all.
Maybe some, yeah.
Okay. Wait, are you emailing or?
Yeah, no, I'll just flash drive.
Okay.
Unless, do you want to be on the email chain? You can do
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm with it.
Okay, Shania, how'd you get a job at Harvard Westlake?
I posted a picture on Facebook, and I was like, UCLA class of 2018. And then Beats messaged me on Facebook like 3 minutes later, and he's like, so like, do you want to work at Harvard Westlake? I was like, yeah,
Oh,
I do
okay.
actually.
So I have to do this.
Oh, so you have to work in LA basically to do it. Oh yeah, there aren't any like. Oh well, I don't know. There's Danny and Daniel. That's true. We'll see. I was thinking. I feel like Harvard Westlake might be.
I mean, you can reach out, but like,
I'll see. I'll talk to.
a much better case for you to work there if you're like living
That's fair.
near it.
That's true. Oh yeah.
Especially next year.
So I have to make it to semis at TOC if I want to live on the East Coast and coach there. Daniel and Danny both met that requirement. That's what it is.
What?
There's gotta be some other standard.
Yeah, I'm sure the only way you can get hired is by 7 to TSC.
Yeah. If I'm living on the East Coast, I'm not applying to a single school in LA. I couldn't.
Oh,
Are you
really?
serious?
I
I like
could-
only apply to California schools.
I couldn't go to school here. I'm applying to 2 schools in California,
Which ones?
Berkeley and Stanford. Like I could live with being
Oh,
bad.
Berkeley apps come back in like a few days. Yeah.
They were so rude. They were like, oh, we accepted like all these people, but not most. Ugh. Sad.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Oh my gosh, there's just like so many random emails that I totally forgot about. And they're all like, you have this deadline and this, and I know I'm just gonna mess something up.
Is this for the European government thing again?
No,
Actually,
no,
that's
no,
not
thankfully
me.
that's all on GroupMe,
What is it?
like
Bond
literally so
Kathy
much.
Bond at gmail.com.
Is it actually Bond?
I'm gonna do practice debates
That's
though with
dope.
them.
Thanks.
Cause they do like these presidential debates where they like argue back and forth on questions, just like it mirrors like a regular presidential debate.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's not the best at it, so I don't know if I want to.
Sent.
Okay.
You threw me out there, right, Bob?
Yeah, totally honest.
No. So sad.
Alright, before I begin, the app talks a little bit about neoliberalism and racism. Is that potentially triggering to anyone?
Yeah, cool.
Where do you guys are?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm almost good. Alright, yeah, I'm good.
Part 1 is the framework. Discourse have normative rules that govern discussion. Inclusiveness of speakers is necessary to form an ethic that includes those speakers. That's uppermost 1. Participants rely on the neutral fact that participants in some communicative form, which is structured by linguistic media understanding communicative practices, certain structural features of common in order context that provide the basis for your orientation relations, but reciprocal recognition of normative kinds of morality derives a genuine meaning from the structure of intersubjective socialization, and ethics are created through social interaction and form the basis for identity. Only through discourse can we understand the value of life itself. That's uppermost 2. Social interactions between language, specific life identity develops from the segregation to respect to relation person, his identity, interpersonal relationship, reciprocal vulnerability, integrity of personal work, the network of symmetrical relationship, recognition, secure their identities and reciprocal action only as members of the community, and deliberation about individuals, especially victims, facilitates their use in decision making and empowers them to achieve their goals on uppermost 3. A state that's become reflects internalized attention between the subjective consciousness of the citizen, the objective spirits of the institution. Democratic practices dissolve the section and destroy the force behind how they communicate in clash of opinions and decision-making processes within the public political sphere to the extent that society become capable of having politically engaged itself. The democratic constitution empowers citizens to achieve a progressive institutionalization of rights. Thus, the standard of promoting inclusive discourses. Part 2 is neoliberalism. American gun culture is rooted in oppressive, individualistic, historical discourse that's Meltzer, one NRA, discourse construction culture rooted in white American history and cultural mythologies by the NRA both front to your masculinity and attempt to appeal to the values and interests of members. Most are white men. They fiddle in the roles of guns in U.S. wars, white expansion from British colonialism, the conquest of the Native American secondary threats to gun control, and individualist culture legitimates hierarchy through a social Darwinism and makes a necessary evil of the free market. That's episode 14. Those who support gun control, majority lead people through activism can harness the power of government to obtain freedom, child social justice. Government can be potentially benevolent negatives of the greater society. For all contrast, the majority who oppose gun control government is invariably the enemy. Self-reliant individuals, growth in optimal society, hierarchy, simply natural product of freedom. This has been bolstered by the market ideology. Part 3 is racism. Gun discourse is covertly racist in the status quo that filter to fear of criminals, racially questioned NRA members about racist stereotypes, criminals of black Latinos, NRA, discourse last time we're told white leaders, told an audience that white pride is just as valid as black pride. He argues political correctness is discourse despite the gun owners himself running their just about the topic of terrorism discourse. She has a lobby. There argues in favor of the ethic provided by airport security, who we feel in terrorists into fairly narrow categories of gender, age, nationality, religion, and gun discourse has co-opted civil rights discourse by appropriating and framing that also 3 NRA leaders emphasize the NRA with the biggest and oldest civil rights organization in the country. They claim that supporting that gun rights activists follow the earlier civil rights activists, portraying themselves to be champion in the present day. Pro claim that supporting civil rights was supporting as popular supporting gun rights now. MK plus civil rights has realized an own president of MK led march to justify appropriation of liberals rather for the gun rights public. The civil rights master training contracted by the NRA was that was an organization that in civil disobedience to fight for personal freedom. Part 4 is the plan text. The USFG ought to ban private ownership of handguns. I defend both legislative and judicial action. The advocacy is antithetical to the discourse of gun rights activists. It rejects the racist and capitalist framing of anti-gun control rhetoric. Skip the Copa 14 card and straight to the Part 5 section. Part 5 is solvency. 8th point, judicial action. SCOTUS upholding the plaintiff's public opinion on removing the rights discourse. That's with 13. When the court upholds controversial laws, increase public support of the immediate frame support of the court majority, the court is in an unusual position for the National Attorney Court as broad discretion between the cases reviewed and the public opinion support for same-sex marriage based on all-time high following favorable Supreme Court decision. Media offers coverage support of the majority in judicial action as normal means. Otherwise, the claim would not pass because courts could just overturn the after B point is pointless. Testing the policy action demands would be implemental. Now, B point is discourse gone. Distrust and hostility has spilled over into status quo discourse. They destroy any hope of dialogue and political arenas as Durant 15 guns at a new round of political discussion. How to rally, how you supposed to talk to someone who doesn't see himself more like a stand up for the political assembly who would pick up guns and scientifically use a rap, breathless speech, just like frustrated protesters by saying the latter had become violent and pose a threat. And gun rights discourse employs sacred rhetoric to suppress consequential discourse of death and violence and ignore the voices of victims and survivors. As myriad the language of gun rights activists is granted sacred for the NRA takes a strong non-consequential position that accidental violent death resulting from gun ownership and not to the issue of the right to bear arms is principle that transcends these concerns. Anti-gun language is about the cause and effect rather than the transient individuals. Often assume that part of the NRA comes from their language coffers. Their power is the advantage gained by advocating a sacred position against a consequential. In one sense, the gun rights position may enjoy a rhetorical advantage over its detractors. C point is political action. Gun sits connect right advocates from the community. This prevents fostering a common civic culture that's surrender to. There's no individuals more true than the right limit. Individual rights should ensure that accountability works to ensure that individuals can act in impulsively and private arguments. A gun fundamentally severs the spirit from the community. It costs others treat them with trepidation or fear. Weapons are intended to serve as a warning. Gun rights is being opposed to government, not for creating common civic culture. Gun rights is the individual against society. Now, civil rights movement proves that laws can affect culture. That's Math 15. Liberals are calling for restricting that access to weapons. Gun culture runs deep, but laws can be changed. They're for rights movement trying to pressure elected officials and challenge laws to end segregation, security, right? We're the public and change culture. Some right culture didn't actually change it, followed rather than proceed with the change in law. We have seen changes in laws that can same-sex couples, abortion, poverty, health insurance issues with deep and complicated histories. Those change because groups advocate for them on the breadth of their judicial, legislative, executive branch, or profound culture. So shifted and reflect legal change. Let us not assuming the issue is untouchable because it's complex or cultural. Because it's complex or cultural. Sometimes seen legal changes that and have done good. Now, underview. Good report. Solutions to critical issues must be discussed through pragmatic approach and hegemonic power structures. That's before either hybridizing, trying to use law, policy, institutional practice, and ideological apparatus to deconstruct what they were. These take the dominant authority of these knowledge, but others have not tried to about hybridizing, trying to use voice and instabilities, power, publicly shown the dominant fortune of the remedy, the injustice of the state commitments, and more accountable manner. Hybridizing work with the dominant discourse of the strategy with the Gemini when you speak their language in a funeral and ethical crimes, you build common ground. The master can easily dismiss or crush you. Playing the game grants you civil legitimacy. Next, CX checks abuse prefer one there infinite answer but all potential winning run for you especially is there considering 2 you can and use CX for clarification especially the implication I lose that you know 3 CX gets us back to substance quiz or 1 possible for substances is both more predictable and easier to advocate. I didn't read the 4th point on CX checks. I didn't read the couple after the play text, but I read everything else.
The couple one is the
Copal right after the plan text. Yeah, it would lead to a police discernment.
Okay.
Okay.
Do impacts matter in the big framework?
Do impacts matter?
Yeah.
What do you mean by an impact? Like that's...
Okay. That seems like a pretty straight up question. Like, what are you confused about?
If you're asking what offense under the standard is,
Yeah.
I would argue, so in the same way that like under a standard util debate, impacts are evaluated magnitude times probability, this is the amount of discourse that you create times the discourse being good.
So do like other util impacts matter, right? You talk about how like hostility is...
I will concede yeah if that's what you're asking.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if those impacts matter.
My frameworks, like obviously if someone is killed or if there's genocide or like some kind of violence or anything, right, that would obviously be bad under my framework. It means that we probably can't have discourse.
Do you defend implementation of the AC?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Let's talk about the last solvency part about laws change culture, right? So this says gun culture runs deep. Laws can be changed. During the civil rights movement, strategy, pressure, elected officials, and challenge laws to end segregation and eventually change the culture. So has Southern white culture of racism changed? Is that playing the card?
Well, I think there's obviously, my argument is not that all of culture, or all of Southern white culture is gone, right? But I think a majority of the culture
you think that majority of Southern white culture has changed?
That's not my argument. The part of the culture that, like, I think it's different insofar as that a majority of people from the South who are white don't believe that black people are inferior and should be subjugated to slavery.
Wait, so is the only kind of like racism that can exist that black people are like explicitly inferior should be subjected to slavery?
No, I just think that that form of racism is worse than monetary racism. Like,
Okay,
thinking black
so
people are inferior is worse than like Twitter ID or like.
how does a law saying that black people are like, saying that segregation is over influence people to think that black people are people?
Sure. So, I mean, there are two reasons for that. The first is that a lot of these people who are super conservative usually invest a lot of psychologically into institutions like the Supreme Court, right?
So wait, because the Supreme Court says that, oh, gay rights now a thing, like super evangelical conservatives are gonna be like, oh, the Supreme Court said it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that everyone's always going to be changed, but the Twist 13 evidence data that a majority of
That's
people
fine.
do, right?
Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about gun rights discourse, the Marietta card saying that they put sacred rhetoric.
Yeah.
What is the sacred rhetoric?
Sure. I think argument, like the typical kind of tagline arguments that you hear right now, like it was a mental health issue, or it's not everyone, or I'm a law-abiding citizen, why should my guns be taken
So
away?
you said that everyone's like opinion needs to be taken into account, right? So many people don't advocate for the Second Amendment, right?
Wait, what?
So AC is taking people's opinions into account, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
it
about
is.
like
You have a
taking.
discourse framework.
Yeah, but it's not about like taking people's opinions into account. It's about creating like a public deliberation, right? I don't like. I mean, like.
Wait.
Yeah, we care. We starting right? Yeah. Okay.
How do you change the racism squo gun discourse?
Sure. So that's the Twist 13 evidence as well as Masket, right? Twist 13 says that when the court upholds a constitutional law, the public increases their support for said law. It doesn't happen immediately, but it does happen over time. So there have been a few favorable Supreme Court decisions in favor of like gay marriage before the official ruling came out in 2015, right?
Okay.
And that's what caused that
real
radical
quick.
shift.
You didn't toss me. Do you have it?
No, email.
Oh, email.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called NC. It doesn't matter. Can I use the stamp? It's like next to it.
Yeah. Do you want me to? What I just messed around was just.
Oh, it moves. Okay.
Yeah. No, actually, you're good.
Okay.
It worked for me. I don't know.
We'll vote. 3 off case.
Okay.
Pull it up. Okay, y'all good?
Yeah, hold up. Alright, yeah, ready when you are.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay, just help.
Sorry.
Sweet.
2?
No, 3.
3, my bad.
Okay, you said 3 off.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have enough paper?
I can flow most.
Wow.
Do you need one more sheet?
No, I'm kidding. Like, it's totally cool. This paper's almost like too big.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, go for it.
Okay. The standard is you till the greatest good for the greatest number of people. One, people don't identify with their future self, so they act in ways to do the greatest good. Over identity does not exist anymore. It's our chain of success, self-movement on psychological, emotional, really consider the future self as if it's another person with views about when people imagine their future self, their neural activity is someone to describe my day, that future brain shape to change most really excited, long-term and age we can focus on the version of ourselves that arrives pleasure when we make decisions, we think of the version of our future self, someone else, our decision, we reflect, we treat other people, we sacrifice, we all the time, our dissociation with our future self, another reason to practice being good to others. 2, principles to be verified by policy analysis, looking at a principle in the vacuum is no value, mention 4. Ethical theories are analyzing and interpreting problems, not for sense, we show obedience, rightness, more claims, and their ability to control the resolution of problem, situation, emergency, new space, involving factual circumstances, recording an advocated more system, more truth, cease, collect, principles, words, require verification of the event. And 3, moral uncertainty means we need to be friendly station no matter what. In Boston 12. Our present axiology might be confused there. With your concerns, there's a great value considering our ability to recognize value and see the future according to stream there. We value humanity the best way to increase future value. And next off is elections. A's uniqueness, Clinton will win now. Polls prove she's ahead of Trump. But voters are split over gun policy. Iglesia 16. Both are remaining Democratic candidates for president. The top Republican front where Donald Trump had a hypothetical generic election back according to CNN poll in this scenario that appears most likely to emerge for the primary country. Then types Trump 52 to 44%. The survey asked voters to choose which of the main top candidates chose more to hand the issue voter evenly split between Trump and Clinton on foreign policies. These links, gun control is the key wedge issue. Gun control empirically swings election because gun owners are very politically active. The action confirm every Republican's worst fear about Democrats. Top 12. Gun control no longer looks like a winning issue, but from Florida by a few hundred votes, and thus the election not for gun if gun is the issue. The election would not have been close to the gun issue. Gore, Missouri, West Virginia, Gore's home state of Tennessee, Clinton's home state of Arkansas, Florida, President Clinton, North of the NRA have been the reason that Gore lost, and Republicans went Clinton for a handgun ban and cost her the election at Wins 15. The Democrat Party is going to lose the 2016 election. Landslide, they can thank the article where gun agenda Hillary Clinton's father, true voice on the far left wing. The Democrat Party expected the national running against the NRA gun control is not a uniting issue. The country should need further 2014. Grossly inaccurate perception of gun ownership. Gun owners are going to force many Democrats and independents to vote Republican. And wedge issues are critical because they unite and mobilize GOP base, which causes to show up more to vote. Turnout is key to GOP victory. Stanley 12. More social conservative leaders believe that in order to win November, they must motivate faith-based leaders to turn out and vote to recognize Santorum, believe it's critical to rally social conservatives. And impact. Republican victory caused a global conflict with Russia and the Middle East. Claire 15. Collaboration with the Gore and reinvigorated core wars are now being folded into single Republican grand statute. We hear a lot more of this ambitious attitude as the Republican presidential hopefuls begin making their campaign. But this is dangerous at every level for their direction of conflict with Russia. Clinton's camp will attempt to counter this drive. The Republicans' direction will result in a form of polarized nation and national environment hopes for achieving any kind of peace in Syria, Ukraine, elsewhere. Despite the urge to convert North America into a unified garrison state of the U.S. command would prompt similar initiatives of Rome, China, and every the Russian and the blocks of the use and use source coercion and inviting these hostile parties and Republican victory means the Republican justice kills reproductive rights. Bill Heiser 16. The fate of the right to choose rests upon which federal police service and women have to reside in women in liberal circles would likely continue enjoying the same rights they enjoy in United States president while women deserve to serve with the right to virtual nothingness where residential jobs would also place in different role deciding women's ability to access gun control. And magnitude first, normal statistical evidence probably break down for catastrophic risks. We can't afford to be wrong even once. Jablonski 10. Danger is inherently fuzzy, non-predictable imperfections around the probability due to the complex dynamic nature of its risk. Levels are simple only to the degree that they blend with natural background levels to read human risk. We suggest our to separate orders of magnitude high because it defines the nature of risk and normal lines of statistical technique. The problem with catastrophic remains longer than may no longer be a long run. We can only rely on results of averaging and overcounting such risk only precautionary avoidance makes sense. And next up is the econ DA. U.S. economy rising now, but on the verge of collapse. Brutus 16. Another major financial crisis looming. This may be a financial crisis. You will want to know financial reveals concern society is in the middle of the financial crisis. Money over time. They want to the adoption of negative interest rates, making the trust in the financial system. And link. And get big kills U.S. trade kills the economy with Powell's routine. The farms industry offers well-paying job loss in retail states, walking tax revenue bans, putting at risk the industry's possible world in the economy. Combined risk of U.S. commercial gun and ammunition market totals around $32 billion economic impact nationwide. Many of the countries currently exporting the United States are on the brink. Our allies are going to go to if our ability to deal with traction impact negatively. Our allies are going to go to China and impact increased Chinese trade and U.S. economic decline, risk nuclear war, freedom of the Chokefield 8. The threat from terrorist affiliates has not been distinguished around North Korea or continuing on the battle with fast risking militancy and China's all of the cost of concerns. If America tries to pull back on the worst safety, will lead to danger, power, cracking, danger, shades, and anti-there's been global trade, and finance, granting the 12 aggressive past laid by reward, Hispanic, who rose in the crest and economic staff, and avoid the exploitation of everyone. There was a rose they mentioned become ever more reckless than the include choice at the moment of the maximum vulnerability. In case, framework, focus on discourse hinders our understanding policy by overlooking questions of agency and material structures, Tale 96. While theoretical debates, academic conferences, more pointed out academic discourse and concerned policy discussion makers will quite different to the they are different, they constitute a distinct policy making some culture that is dangerous to academics and the discourse they engage are more significant practice or policy and extent of how that they really are doubly statement correct because the reality will be represented in particular ways includes the important question of agency, they have something in the representation of exact policy and that provides self-reliable military administration and discourse of different literature are crucial in exploiting social action should be theorized so if you have representational practice there is a danger of penetrating this conservative discourse so we neglect institutional sociological materials cultural and culture and to discourse focus numbs us to the reality of the impact making it more likely Christian of 93. By emphasizing postmodern analysis, why not going the Pentagon even claims that it was a clean board, there was anything high level board options, the manner of representation of incredible levels of annihilation, preoccupation, representation with little sense, the annihilation of visited people without that, sense box work can be effectively sold to a linguistic public, and 3, life is a prerequisite for discourse in the first place because they exist, human rights and things is necessary for conversation, and 4, consequence for discourse can only have an impact when people think, but larger focus on consequences are able to focus on how people work overall and cut out the in turn, your ethics include those that are unable to speak or enter large public conversation because the norms cannot be changed by violence. Empirically proven people say that Mexicans should be able to should learn to speak English when we can understand and engage in the discussion that limits their own heritage and engagement. Skip 6 and 7 and contention. As an overview, public isn't going to increase support just because the SCOTUS agree. That is, BS people do not base their values on what the law says and turn gun bans to police state government routine. Police militarization escalated when prior to gun insurance declined to go to laws become more stringent. Police militarization arrest from institution back to gun control us while the power to receive arrest from the police state and turn bans on gun have historically used discourse of patriarchal power such as question K. Gender pressure are powerful factors in the gun to be the attitude of despising parents held by middle class white men maintain the powerful strong power problems in the realm of self-defense and lived experience of women should change with a different attitude toward violence because the retention of active feminine identity that gun despises the ideology of women are different in the essence of when we are nurturing peaceful and pacifist. The possession of fire by women is an assault on the ideology of difference. And focusing on private ownership prevents solvency, police ownership will prevent changing culture. Call 93. The overall police security center by doing prohibition to American gun control suggests that American police attitude towards gun make it impossible for gun control to be achieved as long as police are armed. This sending a implicit message to our competition with civilians are the norm.
Okay, there are a lot of parts you like cut early. What were those parts? Like I knew you cut, I believe I ended up getting a few of them. I know I didn't get the clear 15 evidence.
How does it possible?
Yeah, were you cutting it?
Yeah, this is here. And then. Okay. And then just cut this.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the econ DA. US is on the verge of collapse.
Yeah.
Why? It just seems as though this is talking about the Big Short, and at the very end, they talked about CEOs. Machiavelli predicts financial crisis. Why does this mean it's coming soon?
Right, so this talks about how there's a prediction of a huge financial crisis, right, from this
Why?
CEO and a person who holds a BA in
He's not-
international relations, right?
He's not a CEO, but like, why exactly is there going to be a market crash?
Right, because the increase in like negative interest rates and because like how the bubbles are decreasing right now means that the financial system is like
Interest
nearing
rates on what market?
nearing collapse, right?
No, on
Talks about like
interest rates where? Like who are these interest rates?
it's like talking about overall as a general trend throughout like most sections of the American economy.
So all
Right.
sections of the American economy,
As a
all
general trend,
lenders
right?
are increasing interest rates? Why does that lead to collapse?
Wait, I think you're missing like the argument here, right? It's talking about as a general trend, the economy is collapsing because there are more negative interest rates, right? Which kills the financial system.
Can you give me an
This
example?
also says-
Can you give me an example?
What?
Like what interest rates?
I'm like
Okay.
talking about the
Yeah,
general
yeah,
trends of the American
That's fine.
economy because people believe that it is good for the economy.
Oh.
The link card says that because of the last financial crisis, people
Yeah,
think
no, don't worry.
they need negative
On the
interest
election
rates. That's-
side, you say Clinton will win now, right? Your Agista evidence is specific to Clinton v. Trump. Where do you provide an internal link or internal
I
uniqueness?
don't like the
Where do you prove that Trump's going to win the GOP?
The DIS Act does not require like specific people from either party, right?
You say Clinton will win now, and this
Right.
argument is specific to her against Trump. Where you provide a warrant is that
Right.
Trump will
Okay.
win now.
So there are a couple ones. One, the card says that Donald Trump is the American presidential like front runner, and he's going to win the rest of the nomination.
Where does it say that?
Both the
Actually-
remaining Democratic candidates can easily top Republican frontrunner in the hypothetical general election matchups, right? So it says that he will win the nomination. He will be that person that they will face in the matchup. Either way, that is not central to the dissent, right? The impact is about how Republican nomination is bad.
Okay, why is it that when people ban handguns in other like capitalist economies like Australia, Britain, their economies didn't collapse?
I'm really confused. I'm sure they're like, wait, what?
Why isn't it that other, like, when we've done handgun bans before, right, economies haven't collapsed before?
Okay, well, my argument is not is specific to like U.S. trade and the places that U.S. trade will go in these like places of a handgun ban. More countries are relying on the U.S. than they are for like Australia for supplement of guns. So when handgun bans are implemented, they're going to go to China, right, to get their guns, which is really bad for the U.S. economy. It also increases like protectionism and the conflict that they want to have with the U.S.
Okay. 4 minutes. What was your argument on twist 13, the SCOTUS argument?
That laws do not change what people independently value, right? They can only, the things that people believe are based on like a long history, like their families and like their society. So just because laws change or just because people have faith in the congressional system does not mean that they believe that they're doing the right things and they will not change their independent lives.
Okay. Before I continue, did you read these, like, the Cox 97 card and Hayes 15?
Like cut it after college, I thought we'd been over this.
No, we haven't, sorry. Would you cut it after Cox?
Couple?
Sorry.
Police ownership.
Okay, you have a couple Coble cards.
Police ownership will prevent changing culture. Just command F, police ownership.
Okay. Police.
Okay, continuing time. Okay, 30 seconds. Let me send you the doc.
You like compiling your doc?
No, I'm sending it. I'm trying to save it, and then I was like, nah.
Okay. Wait, how much did you say you had?
30. Same doc as before, just at the bottom it's gonna say 1 AR.
Okay.
Order's gonna be AC, then NC top down. Bless you, bless you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, my dog. Okay. It's gonna start AC top down, okay? Ready? Group the Christian 96 evidence on Hill 96 second to have considered the Habermas 2 evidence as well as the Master 2 evidence, which means that discourse can empirically prove that discourse shape reality if we consistently refer to someone who is black as a criminal, they internalize that kind of oppression and use it as an identity that empirically causes the kind of violence that we see in the stats for that. Argument was conceded that argument was conceded, so it's not that I overlook materiality rather than discourse on the root cause of the materiality. You say that life is a prior question, but discourse is a prior question because we need to determine because discourse allows us to determine if things like life are worth living. You also said that consequences come first. This also presupposes that we can create some kind of deliberation about it. Then you say that we include people who are unable to speak. That this presupposes that all types of discourse or deliberation are purely linguistic or are simply in one type of language. There are different ways that you can communicate with someone now. Go to someone's case. She says that SCOTUS won't happen, but that's empirically denied. I give an example of the same-sex marriage as well as health insurance and abortion and poverty, multiple issues that the Supreme Court has upheld and has upheld and decided it was a good idea, which means I have way on translating back to the AC ferment section of the Twist 13 as well as the preventer 2 evidence means that I am not only increasing discourse, but I'm making that discourse better. Now, going the good bit of the couple 93 evidence group them together. Okay. A handgun were disarmed and disarmed in places while sentenced to Japan, Britain, Australia, proved that's couple 14. These officers are not entitled to undercover weapon officers who face the risk of attack on them, the risk faced by people. Officers cannot just buy handguns and all millions of forbidden policemen use of firearms. Common officers don't receive any consent for trading the use of handguns. Police their minds in prohibition from the start. Nation which have not restricted gun control have succeeded through the example of the government police. So I'm very careful for certificate of the police. Disarmed is one of the most important reasons why portals and civilians disarm handguns. Cut the card down to reasons. Now,
recent handgun have been successful in Japan. The police have been minimized with the handgun, card handguns that takes up both your arguments. I'm not saying that I feel away from handguns, rather, or feel away from the police, rather that banning it from private citizens will lead to the police having their guns taken away as well. Now, on the UTIL framework, first, you say UTIL for the government, the UTIL is bad for the government, and three words at time. B would be incompetent at identifying which acts would be an accurate decision making with the interpretation from second. The reason would be able to self-interest rather than state and second act, in fact, once also someone else's consent would be free to believe that third would be the what persons like you also say over 14, but the point is that memories check that people might have different identities, but they also have the same memories. The point is that you cannot aggregate because multiple headaches don't equal memory. Then Bostrom conflates the pre with the post Vietnam elections. First prediction should be evaluated for activation to link into scenario less likely as pressure in 83. So crucially, remote possibility can be viewed as being a probability of 0 and set aside probabilities as effectively 0 no longer represent the real probabilities. And it is essentially a matter of flat deciding about the policy is certain level sufficiently low probability. This makes a cutoff point at which we are no longer dealing with real possibility and general risk genuine risk of disaster. Distinction between real and non-real get small enough the event may not be interesting long enough to probability. Now Hillary will lose no matter what. Way too many scandals that's good Goodwin 15. Hillary scandals are piling up there. Immediate feeding furniture of the shaking feelings of the volume of the critical mass. She is looking less and less inevitable. New email and has another layer of the last name Hillary Clinton's false claim to the correct sort of thing. A multi-angle mushroom theory of outrageous context free 30,000 emails from the American business gets this over the international road. Then merged with advice well she can take us into the big challenge that America faces now. Your ruling it also presupposes that Trump's going to be the election as empirically denied. If Rubio was able to win a winner-take-all state like Florida, or Case is able to win a winner-take-all state like Ohio, which they both probably will, then that goes to your solvency argument. And now go on econ. 8 point, this is just Mark Berry talking about different CEOs, not a reason why it's going to collapse. B point, you cannot identify a single market nor any competitive interest rates. Also, your link is empirically denied. We have done handgun bans in different countries as well as in different cities, and there's never been any type of destruction of the economy. The only card I didn't were the cards that I didn't read. I didn't read white 3-4. I didn't read the link evidence, and that's it.
Which?
All right, everything except under Hillary's scandal.
You didn't read hair either, right?
Huh?
Can we just go through this now? Because I don't.
Yeah.
So you didn't read hair.
No, I did not. I did not read that. I read it.
And then you read that. You read that.
Mm-hmm. No, I made that argument analytically.
Okay. And then no these.
No.
Okay.
I read everything.
What are the arguments on the uniqueness on econ?
3 arguments. The first is he's just talking about credit default swaps in the housing market. No reason that has anything to do with the entire economy. The B point is that your inability to identify a single market that is having a raising interest rate probably means that there's no empirics behind your argument. And the third argument is there's no analytic or there's no proper internal link between the bubble bursting and the entire economy collapsing. And then I make 2 arguments on the link as well.
What is the argument on Bostrom?
Bostrom conflates the pre-fiat with the post-fiat, and then I also say that Rescher 83 is probably embedded clash towards that.
How?
Rescher says that we should look to probability first, right?
Okay.
Which means, yeah.
let me send the document.
Okay.
I just sent it. So the order is going to be elections, econ, NC framework case.
Okay. Repeat that again?
Okay, elections, econ, NC framework, AC, and then AC.
Okay.
Great. Can I also have the box
Yeah.
with this? Show with it. Thanks.
You're good.
Oh wait, I had to leave my own speech. Here, sorry.
Here.
Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. All concede that Hillary will win no matter what the takes up that is said. I'm not going for it, but I'll answer the probability of being magnitude argument here. First, one in briefly nine governments and policymakers enter war, make policy decisions to make a tremendous change to what they believe to be mass extermination in the United States. Wars like World War II and the nuclear bombing in Japan prove U.S. justifies mass atrocity because they believe that they're protecting more U.S. citizens. Two, you assume the government is only one person that makes decisions about things, but the amount of people that work in government, and thus they delegate their jobs well because there are more than one person on every policy proposed means, and people can collectively decide how they propose their essential risks, not priorities, receiving to talk through policy. And this is also very directly answered by the argument that I read about, on the bottom of the 11 is that the magnitude force because calculations for probability we break down for essential risks because they are not the same as for any other type of risk. We cannot calculate for as any probability if it serves a great risk for all of humanity because we need to determine if we need to focus on it first because it serves a risk for everyone. This also very clear in the framing of the card because it says that your the premise of your card you cannot calculate probability for something like extinction because they'll also. Yeah. Then also, the calculation for probability is a probability is magnitude times probability. This risk means that I weigh no matter what because the magnitude of extinction is infinite because they death and happens to literally every single person. That precludes chance for each life means that even if I have low probability, I weigh the 100% chance that you saw all of that. That's 1,000 lives. Also means that I weigh on scope because even if I don't bring for my scenario crime, we'll never aggregate crime and death will never aggregate to extinction. Now, let's go to the econ DA. First, you're USC this is just talking about different CEOs. No, this is a prediction about how the economy will feel because of the general trend of industries to use negative interest rates since the last financial crisis because they have not because in the last financial crisis what got them out of it was the negative interest rates because they brought in more income because of that, but that is going to lead to the next financial crisis because we're not bringing enough income to support the growth of the economy is having, which means it's going to collapse anyway. Then this also answers your argument because you probably need a uniqueness to make these indicts because as long as you don't have a uniqueness, it's not a takeout. also doesn't matter because the Lincoln impact is very specific to the gun industry and how that is going to collapse. And you also say that I can't talk about a single market. Okay, that's fine. That's because it's about the market as a whole. That is the argument that Bruno's making, because that is why it's forcing gridlock in Washington, because people are not able to determine how they can fix the economy. So this is the solution that they have determined is going to kill the economy. Then on the link, you say that it's empirically neither. It never happened. But my links are very specific to the U.S. It says that the handgun may appeal to U.S. trade because we are a major supporter of handguns throughout the entire world, which also means that when we immediately get rid of guns, that is a reason why we kill our economy and the economies of people around the world, because they rely on us to get their guns, and when they cannot get their guns from us, they will go to countries like China, which is why the impact occurs. The impact is very specific to China. It says that when Chinese trade increases, protectionism of China also similarly increases, which leads to conflict between U.S. and China over the resources that they're able to have, because China increases in power. They are number one enemy right now, which also means that the U.S. is incentivized to go to war against them because they are losing power in the domestic sphere, which also means that we're going to go to nuclear war over this to protect our trade interests. Then you also say that bubble burst is not the same as economic collapse, so there's no link. This argument doesn't make sense because the bubble is what is keeping us afloat right now, but it's the only thing that is keeping us afloat right now, because you've conceded that the gun industry is 30% of the U.S. economy. So when we burst that section of the bubble, the entire market collapses, because it is such a big part of the U.S. economy that it has such a big impact. Okay. Then, and see, fair. First on Boston, I want your argument that it completes pre and post fiat. One, this has nothing to do with pre and post fiat. Talking about how we talk about existential risk, that when we're talking about an ethical decision, we have to specifically incorporate existential risk because that is the only way that we can continue having these discussions about ethics in the first place, because we are not sure what ethical theory is true. This is a miracle group because we are having a framework debate. Similarly, it has nothing to do with post fiat. I think you also say the probability first, but I've also answered that. It also doesn't matter because even if probability comes first, it does not mean anything to the two, because we still consider extinction first, because it allows us to have a debate and discussion over whether probability and magnitude comes first. So it doesn't matter in your framework. Then you also so you can extend Boston that even a 1% risk of the dissat also means that you have to negate because the index here says that your method of the affirmative is bad. Then let's go to the AC framework. You misunderstand the discourse comes reality argument. It says that your focus on discourse is uniquely bad because it doesn't allow us to focus on big war and big impacts like war, because we always talk about how we are discussing things as opposed to how we are going to war and focusing on the actual impacts that are happening to people. You say that this process of deliberation is about consequences, but that doesn't make sense because it is about the way that the discourse happens. You say it discourse shapes reality, but it says that the way that it shapes reality is bad, and the focus is similarly bad. Now, back in the essay framework, you also make the argument that no aggregation is possible, but on aggregation, I'm not saying that 5 pens are more valuable than 1, but rather when we be forced to choose, we should choose 5 pens. The forced choice is key, and in vacuum, all pens are equally important, but in conflict, we should often demand more pens than pens are truly equal. And as an overview of the debate, I don't have to win frameworks to win the debate. Your arguments on Bostrom and why we should prefer big magnitude arguments are really bad. They also outweigh all advantages.
Okay, I have 35 seconds. Order will be, it will be due to the round, AC, then NC, and that will start with the framework, then the probability, the magnitude debate, and then econ.
First to air.
Okay, known to air.
y'all ready?
Yeah.
Overview of the round, if I'm able to win the probability of the magnitude debate, it's obviously an easy win for me. Now, the second argument that she's also conceded is that the econ dissat is empirically denied. That's a form of terminal defense on the DA. There's offense on the AF that is conceded, and that outweighs on strength of link back to my roll of the ballot. Go to the AC framework. She tries to extend this argument saying that discourse doesn't allow us to focus on things on war, but my argument still stands true that discourse controls things toward the root cause of the kind of material effects, i.e. you say war is an empirical example, but that war, i.e. World War II, was created by a different type of like nationalist discourse or a different type of like nationalist discourse. I also give another empirical example of the way that when we use our discourse to frame black people as criminals, that causes violence from them to the status quo. That's two empirical arguments that are now made that discourse actually affects reality, which means it calls one of the reasons why in the NC framework why looking at the consequences is good. You have also considered the twist 13 of the Durant 2 evidence. That means I 100% strength of link of offense back to the AC framework. This is completely conceded. Then now go to the NC. You have considered the Oderstein evidence. It's a reason why you should not look to any of the util impact within the debate. I said that because the government, because the agent of the resolution is the government, and looking to util and consequences is bad in terms of policy making. It's a reason why you should reject it outright. Even if you think that she's buying any of her arguments that her impact back to mine, this doesn't impact just on the framework level, but on a util and consequentialist calculus in the debate in general. Because governments are always going to be unable to actually do that calculus now. Go on the probability, the magnitude debate. A lot of your arguments are just simply not answering the words of mine. The Russia 83 argument makes two empirical claims. The first is that if we look to magnitude first always, it means we would never do anything, i.e. I would never walk out the store because it might lead to me tripping and falling and then hitting my head and then subsequently dying, which is absolutely ridiculous. So it puts us in a form of policy paralysis. That's the reason why probability comes first. The B point that was considered is that every internal link in her link chain makes the probability way less likely, so much so that it's marginal as best. Now the policy process is the reason why you also don't look to the Bostrom evidence. It's the reason why predictability comes first. Now quickly on the econ dissat, you have conceded the argument that your form of that when we ban handguns, it's empirically denied. Britain, Australia, and Washington D.C. prove that there's no actual effect on the market. You have also conceded the argument that just because a bubble might burst does not mean that the entire economy will collapse. Empirically proven because during the tech bubble in 2001, the economy did not collapse there. So overview to the round. There's offense back to my framework. There's now terminal defense back on the DA, which is a reason why you could easily vote on the gap offense. And using magnitude before probability leads to a different type of leads to a policy paralysis. It's a reason why we can't look to the utils in the debate.